What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your 9th Android tutorial for the new Boston. What we're going to do in this tutorial is set up our buttons and basically use a method that's going to make the buttons do something when we click the button. So we're going to just set that up. We aren't actually going to define what the button does when it clicks, but if you guys are brand new to programming, this again will be probably pretty confusing for the most part, but I'm going to try and break it down a little bit and then we'll review it later on down the road. But I just want to show you guys how to set this up. Now what we've done, we set up two variables called add and subtract. They're both the type button, so they're button variables. And then we set up a reference to the XML again by the findViewById method. Now also within this onCreate method, so it'll be the second bracket up within there, this is where we're going to set up our OnClickListener. So basically a button needs to set up an OnClickListener, and within the parameter, or basically what that's looking for is a OnClickListener, and the OnClickListener is going to use the method onClick. I know it's kind of confusing, but I just want to kind of talk about it or tell you guys what it does or what it's looking for the most part before we get into it. So again, like I said, since we imported the button class from the package of the 2.2 Android platform, we can use some of the methods from the button class. So how we use a method is we use our variable name, such as add, which again is a button, we hit period or dot, and then we have all these methods we can choose from. And there's one called set OnClickListener. So this is where we're going to set our OnClickListener. As you can see, it takes in an OnClickListener within its parameters. So we're going to set that up. Now we don't have an OnClickListener yet, so we're going to set up a new one. And you do that by saying new, and it comes from the view class, so we're going to say new view.onClickListener. And again, Eclipse helps you out, so it's going to be this first choice, view.onClickListener, and it's a method, so that's why there's parentheses right there. We're going to click that, and when you click that, it's going to set up the onClick method as well. So that's what's really nice about Eclipse, and it sets up this onClick method. So when our button's clicked, it's going to do what's ever within these brackets right here. Now before we get into anything else, I want you guys to use a semicolon and finish off that statement right there, because again, just think of this as one line of code. For the most part, this whole line is basically one line of code, and so you got to finish it off with a semicolon. Now that probably looks really confusing to brand new programmers, and you're like, what is all this junk? Trust me guys, the more you use buttons, the more this will become familiar. I just wanted you guys to get a layout like this so you get kind of familiar with that. Basically, again, a button needs an OnClickListener, so we have to set the OnClickListener. So we set it by using the method set OnClickListener, and that takes an OnClickListener within its parameters. Well, I'm saying that a lot, so it's probably confusing you guys. But since we didn't have one, we had to set up a new one right here, and we kind of defined it by, or there's an onClick method that we can use, and again, this is where we're going to actually make our button do something. So there we go, we set up our button, our OnClickListener for our button add. So we're just going to copy that and paste it down below, and change the add to our other button that we set up, sub. So they both have an OnClickListener set up, and then you can hit Control or Command Shift F depending if you're on Mac or Windows, and it kind of formats it for you. So there you guys go. I mean, that's all this tutorial is. I know it's probably not of much help, because especially for you guys, you new guys, because it looks so complicated, and it really does for the most part if you guys are new, but you guys will get familiar with this, especially as we go on throughout the series. I'll kind of explain, give you guys some more detail. I just don't want to throw on all the information at once. But there you go. That's basically all this tutorial is. Again, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you guys in the next tutorial. We're actually going to make these buttons do something. So I'll catch you guys then. Have a good one.